These IEMs have been advertised so much. You're probably seeing them in the HUD of your car, in the inside part of your freezer door in your refrigerator, and maybe even on the last birthday card you received from your grandma. And because of all of that, I had to jump on the train and see what the hype is all about. What's up, everybody? This is David M., the Polish Potato, and this is my unbiased, completely honest review of the Wave Pro from Soundbrenner. And as always, I will start right away with the sound quality of these earbuds. It's not bad. That's my bottom line. The question is, for all of us, regular average users like myself, is it better than the competition at the same price point? So let me tell you what it is first. There is bass in these earbuds. It's nice. It's nicely rounded. It's not overdone. It's not underdone. It's sort of neutral. They do go for extended boost in the upper bass and lower mids region, which I personally like. But I'm going to tell you right away, I have the Kiwi Ears KE4s here that also do that. They go for the very similar sound signature. So the advertising is, these are for musicians. I can't disagree, but also the sound quality is not stunning. It's not something that will place you ahead of competition, undoubtedly making everybody flock to you just because of the sound quality. That's my honest opinion. Of course, I am only one dude on YouTube with my own ears, so you have to listen for yourselves. The last thing I want to say about the sound quality of these is that you kind of tend to hear things closer to your ear. So if you're looking at an extensive big soundstage, like, for example, the MP145 Pro from Heidi's give you, that's not going to be the Wave Pro. Let's move to the aesthetics. Pleasing, nice. I like the design. I love the color, the matte gray, warm gray on the outside. The resin part on the inside is something that everybody else is doing. It's, again, not anything special, not anything unusual. So I would say, while the sound quality places these sort of in the middle of the road, the aesthetics of the design are definitely a standout because they managed to make them their own. And it's unique. That's a good thing. Now let's go to the ergonomics. They fit very, very nicely into my average male ear. Sit there snugly, and they don't cause any fatigue. They don't cause any problems. Once your ear gets used to the shape, which is, again, pretty average, pretty well done, they sort of disappear, and you tend to forget that they are there. At least that's what happens to me, which is a great thing for IEMs. They do provide enough of a seal with a proper ear tip, which is my next point. And here, unfortunately, we're going to get to the part of the review where I'm going to have a lot of questions, because I just failed to understand the choices Soundbrenner made for these ear tips. And here's why. The first one we have is the liquid one, which is great in terms of adjusting to the shape of your ear. But the problem with those is that they are dust collectors. They are dust magnet, like almost as if there was like a sticky substance covering them. This is just the nature of this material they are made of. And man, do we have enough problems with gunk in our ears coming from our own bodies, like the earwax. We just really do not need to introduce more dust and more dirt and hair and whatever sticks to those ear tips into our ears. So that's a no for me. The second type is the foam. And unfortunately, here with the foam, there's as many lovers as there are haters out there, because using foam tip properly, of course, requires an exercise. You have to squeeze it first. You have to form that little cone. Then you have to put it in your ear quickly so that it starts opening up while it's still squeezed. And it's just a process. So A lot of people just absolutely hate them. A lot of people say they can't use them. They don't know how to. They're unable. They just will never. To me, I'm okay with foam. I don't mind doing the exercise. But if I have other tips, like a nice silicone soft ear tip, then I just don't bother with the foam because it's just not worth it for me. That's my opinion. The third ear tip that they picked is the double flange one. And again, those are only going to work for some people. There are some people that like them. There are some people that absolutely hate them because they say all they do is get stuck in their ears. There's just unnecessary step of having the double flange. Single flange or just regular ear tips are fine for most people. So what I did for my test when I was comparative listening to these versus other IEMs, I simply used the soft silicone from Heidi's ear tips just to have, first of all, the same ear tip on both earbuds. Second of all, being able to switch quickly is crucial when you're doing comparative listening because you really want to remember the sound of one IEM before you switch to the other one. And here's why I don't understand these choices, because if you're making an IEM that you're advertising so heavily, you have to go with an ear tip that will work for most people. All the ones you went with are very edgy. Again, just my opinion. You guys may think I'm crazy and that these are the best tips in the world. If you do, go ahead and leave a comment. Let's debate. Or if you agree with me, you can also leave a comment. I don't mind that. Now, going to the cable, nothing to criticize here. Solid, nice, good cable included with these IEMs. You don't need to upgrade it. But again, there is one part of the cable that I have to touch on, and it is the very ending of it, because they do come with a 3.5 millimeter jack and a 6.35 millimeter jack. And maybe that does it for musicians, but a lot of audiophiles will immediately question the lack of the balanced 4.4 millimeter, which happens to be my favorite. I just have affinity for the 4.5 millimeter because it's a balanced cable and it's a little better than 3.5. I don't need the 6.35 most of the time. Most of my devices run on 4.4, so it's just always my first choice. And I hate to point this out, but again, for a little bit of money, with Heidi's, you get that standard. With a lot of other manufacturers, you get that standard. With the Waves Pro, you have to pay extra $25 to get the 4.4 millimeter. If you are going to spend almost $200 on IEMs, you're expecting something complete, and then you find out you have to pay extra $25 for your favorite cable ending. That's just not gonna work. That's just disappointing. The last piece of the puzzle and the last accessory included in the full package is the carrying case, and that is also on the just basic side. You can buy carrying cases like this for literally $5 on eBay, AliExpress, or even Amazon. Since I'm comparing to Heidi's, now that's a carrying case. You get this included in the $180 price point. So, Soundbrenner, take notice. The whole packaging, this is the box that everything comes in here, is not bad. It is going towards that higher end presentation with a nice note here and all the arrangement of things. But the components themselves absolutely need to be upgraded if we're talking real high end here. One last thing I want to talk about. I did have an exchange with Soundbrenner customer service, and they were very, very nice, very receptive to all my remarks, and that is something worth mentioning because that matters. If you're looking to make products in the future and you've taken remarks from the industry and you pay attention to them, chances are you're going to improve in the future and offer much better products to people. So thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe because it does help the algorithm. And if this review helped you make an educated decision, whether you were considering purchasing the Wave Pro or not, then I have completed my mission today. I will see you in the next video.